Guitar there again, and it's damn hot in here again. Right, now something a bit different again. This here is a 1992, if I remember correctly, Rickenbacker 620, which I got from my buddy Chin On. I think this was the last guitar I got in 2006. Of course, he rang me up, he dropped me an email one day and said, have you got a Rickenbacker? No. Would you like one? Somebody's offering me one here for 1,500 ringgit. But what is it? Oh, it's a 620, which is one of the solid bodies, you see. And, okay, I'll take it. I mean, at that price, what can be wrong? So, Chin On duly showed up with what looked to be a beaten up old Ibanez case from the 70s, and indeed it was. I recognise the lining. And in it was this thing. And the condition it was in was a bit strange, because all the chrome work, the pickups, you know, the bright work on it was all beautiful, beautifully shiny. But the finish was dull and sticky. And he said, yeah, the reason it was so cheap, some guy bought it and it's been hanging in his house for about the last 10 years. And he cooked everything in the wok, everything was fried. So this thing's just been exposed to basically aerosol particles from frying every day for 10 years plus. So, the finish, don't know what we're going to be able to do with that. So I tried polishing it up, and it was real funny. I mean, as soon as I got polish on this thing, the smell of oil just came off it. And no matter how I tried, I couldn't get it from being anything but cloudy. And then eventually one day the finish on the side of the fingerboard here just crumbled off under my fingernail like it was candy coating. And I thought, you know what, I'll get the thing refinished. So I sent it off to a local repair guy called Richard Lee, and he stripped it down and refinned it for me in it was the same colour as before, jet glow, which is Ibanez posh way of saying Rickenbacker's posh way of saying black. So what we got? Well, if you don't know these beasts, you got the cresting wave body style there, the old R tailpiece, which is possibly the worst tailpiece on the planet to restring, because the strings fit onto little studs. The ball ends fit onto little studs under the tailpiece here, and you've got to hold them in place with your finger while you feed them under the bridge cover and get them on the end of here and tune them. And it's a job that requires you to have at least 4 hands. And as you noticed, human beings only have 2. It's got a neck through body construction. I think it's all maple, so you've got a maple neck, maple body wings, maple through neck. So it's surprisingly heavy. I mean, you'd think with that skinny little body it'd be a light guitar. No, you're almost up into Les Paul territory with the weight of this thing. The pickups on it, well, they call them these high gain pickups, but that's because that's what they called them back in the 60s when they used them to replace the old toaster tops. So they are humbuckers, even though they don't look like it. I think they're stacked coil, and they are higher output than the old toaster tops. They're not high gain in any parlance after about 1967. You've got 2 volumes, 2 tones. And they are backwards from the way you might expect on the Gibson layout. So volume, volume, tone, tone. And then there's this funny little knob here. Well, it's sort of an extra volume knob for the neck pickup. So I'll put it onto clean, just hit a chord, put it onto the neck. Absolutely no effect on the bridge pickup, and it has something to do with the Rico sound circuit, which is I'm shuffling in closer. you see it's got 2 sockets on it. If you put a lead into each of these, you get outputs to 2 amplifiers. One for the treble pickup alone, one for the neck pickup alone. And then you can use this third knob as a balance between the two. If you want it for mono, you have to use that input there, sorry, that output there. And I nearly always end up plugging it into the wrong one first time up when I use this thing. Well, I've already touched on the tones, so let's run through them. I'll keep this knob fully up so that the neck pickup is on full. And let's do the old A minor chord on the clean channel. Both pickups together. And the bridge pickup. There's a little bit of that Rick jangle there, as you would expect. As you'd expect with that old maple construction. There's some dirt tones. Well, I tried to pick a Rickenbacker appropriate song, but I don't know all that many. So here's the neck pickup, crunch tone. Both pickups together, crunch tone. And the bridge pickup, crunch tone. One thing you will hear mentioned about Rickenbackers is how narrow the neck is and how much it messes people up. It's actually an optical illusion. The neck, the physical dimensions of the neck are about the same as a Fender. Okay, it doesn't flare out as much, so they're not about the same as a Fender. It doesn't flare out as much as you get up the fingerboard, so once you get up here, it's not as wide as a Fender, but there's only about 1/8 of an inch in it. The difference is the string spacing, because the high and low E strings are maybe a 1/16 of an inch further away from the edge of the fingerboard than they would be on a Fender with an equivalent neck. And that means that the strings are just that little bit closer together. And yes, when I first got this guitar, I took it down to jam with my friend's band, and someone, they called me to play a solo, and I completely flubbed it because I was up here, up the dusty end, and my muscle memory got totally confused. The strings weren't where my fingers expected them to be. But after a month or so playing it, you get used to it. I had a similar problem actually when I bought my Les Paul, because my body was calibrated to playing, a 24 3/4 scale length on my Ibanez Moderne, where the neck is out here somewhere. So when I was getting up the dusty end, it's as though my body was saying, I know where the frets should be, and I got up the dusty end and I was flubbing all the time. I was missing position changes and stuff, and again that took about 2 weeks to a month of playing the Les Paul before I got used to that. But it's almost as though once you get these settings wired into your muscle memory, they stay. And then you pick one up 5 years later and it's click, it's in there. Anyhow, there you have it. Rickenbacker 620 from the early 90s, refurbed by me sometime about 9 years ago. Cheers then, see you tomorrow.